Top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Welcome to the Barry J. McDonald podcast. The place where dreams get dusted off and acted on. Because life is too short. We're living on a rock that's flying through space, and hey, what the hell else were you going to do with yourself here?
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, the title of today's podcast episode probably sounds intriguing. It probably sounds like something you would love to happen, and that is to not fail anymore. Now, unfortunately, a lot of us were probably destroyed by the educational system, no matter what country you went to. You know, we'd all these eager little kids who were just excited to learn things, who wanted to draw, who wanted to paint, who wanted to colour, who wanted to sing, and we came out the other side of the educational system a nervous wreck. You know, we're afraid to put up a hand in case we've got the wrong answer. We had sat through exams where we were told that we were a dummy. You know, you might have handed up homework one day and you got it back the next day and it was all scribbled over in red pen. Everything was underlined and all your mistakes were marked, they were circled, they were underlined, and everything there was just to show you that you were just complete and absolute failure. And sometimes a lot of that stuff wasn't even our own fault. You know, sometimes when we failed, it wasn't always us to blame. You know, sometimes it was just due to maybe bad teaching. Sometimes maybe it was just due to maybe a boring subject that we knew we were never going to use outside school and we just didn't put any effort into it. And some days maybe when you sat down to do that exam, you just weren't in the right frame of mind. But unfortunately, you couldn't go back and reset that exam. So what they did was they said that you were a dummy, even though, you know, on that day you were maybe poorly taught, a boring subject, maybe not given a chance to, you know, get rid of some of your stress beforehand, and that's where you goofed up. And because of that, for the rest of your life, you're thinking to yourself, well, I am only an F student, or I'm just a complete dummy. And that isn't true. So when it comes to failure, as I said, you know, a lot of us don't like being a failure. A lot of us want to walk the safe route. You know, we don't even like failing in front of our neighbours. You know, imagine failing in front of your neighbours and losing your job and having to sell your home, or having to maybe downscale your house, or having to hand back your car, or, you know, having something in the paper written about you that your business went bankrupt or something happened to you. No, we hate that. We hate the thoughts that other people could see us as failures. But again, everyone else is looking at everyone else and they're afraid of goofing up. They're afraid of making mistakes. They're afraid of taking risks, afraid of taking chances in case it blows up, and then they goof up in front of other people. So we don't like to fail. But what I would say to you is maybe a new way you should look at failure, and it's through something I read in a quote recently where it was said, you don't fail, you learn and grow. Now think about that for a moment. You don't fail, you learn and you grow. Now I want you to go back to maybe some of those failures or things that happened in the past that you thought were failures. And I want you to look at it through that lens. That when you failed, you learned something new and you grew from that point. Now hopefully that thing you did learn, that, you know, that idea of riding down the bicycle with no hands on the handlebars wasn't really a good idea. Hopefully you learned from that and you started putting your hands on the handlebars. Or hopefully you learned that, you know something, you know, you goofed up on that race meet, you came last in the race, so you said to yourself, well, you know something, I need to train harder the next time, I need to put more effort in, and you learn from that. So instead of looking at failure as something that, you know, is us, you know, a lot of us see, well, you know, when we're handing that piece of paper after the exam where it says we are a D student or an F student, we think that is us. But no, that isn't us. That's where we were at a certain point in time. You know, that can't really measure what we will be like for the rest of our lives. That was only what you were like maybe when you were 16, 17. That has no relation to what you're going to be like when you're 25, 35, 50, 60. Absolutely no relation at all. So if you are afraid of failure, don't be afraid of failure, because it's a chance for you to learn and grow. It's going to be a chance for you to learn something that didn't work, maybe something you didn't put enough effort into, or there could be something you need to learn so that when you go back and try another time, you'll put more effort into it. You'll have a new idea of something else you might need to do, and you won't make that failure again. But the next time you'll probably get a little bit further and you'll fail again, but that is another chance for you to learn and grow. So give that some thought today. If you do think that you're a failure, or if you have some recent failures, you didn't fail. It was a chance for you to learn and grow. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Before you go, Barry would like to give you a free copy of Words to Wealth. In it, he's going to show you 10 ways to make money from writing. Head on over to writecome.com now for your copy. Have a great day and come back soon.